Hi everyone, welcome to the course and today we will be doing custom hooks. So let's see that how we can create our own custom hooks whenever we want. Now why the custom hooks were introduced is like that whenever we use some kind of hook, right, it is not reusable. So we can create something called reusable where we can use that same particular of hook n number of time with different kind of data. For example, I want to fetch some data, right? And every time I have new URL from where I want to fetch the data. So for that thing, I don't want to repeat the code again and again. So what I will do is I will create a custom hook where my all the data will be fetched and there will be another component in which I can use that by passing URL. So that's what we are gonna do over here for the and what will happen when we use hook. So in this particular thing, we can even use state, use effect, and our use ref. Whatever we want to perform any side operation, we can perform in that particular hook only, or whether we want to fetch the data, we can even do that thing in this same hook. So now let's see how we can do that. So remember that I gave you this particular link for fetching the data, and same thing we will be doing right here. So let's start with it. So this is your URL which I will be keeping over here, but I want to write RAFCE. Okay, this is my use fetch component. So how will you create your custom hook? Remember that you will always have this prefix of use. Okay, and the second word can be whatever you want to do. So the only remember the first thing should be use over here. Now what do I want? I want to take URL from here every time. Okay, whatever will be my parent component will be passing URL to this. Okay, and let's suppose what I want to create over here my hooks, my use state. Okay, I want to store some data, whatever will be fetched from the URL. So initially data and set data. Okay, so initially my data is going to be, so see, I can in this particular custom hook I can use my use state hook. So in this I want to send null. Initially I don't want anything to be stored, and after that I know if data is there, that API can give me some error, so I want to reflect that error also. But before that I want to set loading. Okay, so initially if the data will take much time for loading, so it will tell me that it is taking too much time. Okay, if I want to load it, initially I will load it. So set loading. Now what do I want? I want my initial loading to be true. I want my data to be load initially. Okay, so I will keep it as true. And there is something called error, so I want to handle my error also. So initially I will have error and set error. Whatever will be the error will be set. And initially I want to keep this also as null. Okay, so it will be null initially. Now let's see what do I want to do. Okay, so here, not here, here I want to use effect, because remember that I want to fetch the data, but I want to change it only. I want that particular use effect to run. That will be the side operation, because I want that whenever URL will be changed, that particular should execute, otherwise it should not execute. Okay, so I will use effect. So in this, what will be going? Okay, so I want to fetch some data. Okay, and you know that we did promises, and the better thing to do is async await. So let's do that. So let's create fetch data, as we want to fetch some data. I wanted to do it asynchronously, and create your arrow function. In this, what I want to put it in try catch block as we did in the previous video. So I want my response. I know that I will be getting my response okay, and I need to do a wait keyword because I want whenever I will be fetching the data, it should take some time to fetch the data. So how I will do, I will put await, and in fetch, okay, let's put URL, okay, that I want to. So this URL, whatever will be coming, will go here and it will fetch the data from here. Okay, so it's done, and now I want my data to get into JSON format. So how I will do that, I will say const result equals to whatever the result will be there, I want it should get converted into JSON format. So I will say response dot JSON. Yeah, but before that I want to put if response is not okay, response dot, so I want to throw a custom error. So what I will do, I will say throw new error, and here I will say error occurred. Okay, or I'll say response is not okay. Okay, now next thing what I want to do is I want to check if, okay, let's put something called is mounted. Okay, so I will put in here let is mounted. Is mounted, I told you that mounted means that my element, my component is added to the DOM, right? So is mounted is initially true, so it's there. So now what I want to put catch over here. Okay, and my catch will be handling the error. Okay, and I will say if. So now what do I want to do is mounted is true, and I have also added this try, but I want, if I have added this thing, so now I want to use it. So what I will say that if is mounted, that means if it is added to the DOM, I want to set my data as result. Okay, so this result will be set over here. Clear? So in error, I will say that if is mounted, that means if it is added to the DOM and it is giving error, then in that case my error should be error dot message. So message will automatically give me whatever the error will be. Okay, and finally, so I will put finally. What finally will do over here is that if is mounted, that means if it is added to the DOM, I want it is loaded. That means it was loaded initially, but now I want to set my loading as false. That loading should stop now. Okay, that's it. This is done. Now what do I want? I want to call this fetch data over here, because fetch is a method, if you can see. Okay, and what I want to return, let's suppose I want to put over here my URL in dependency array, because every time my URL will change, it should run the use effect. And now I want to return, what do I want to return? I want to return from here my data and loading and my error. I want to return all these things, but But let's see that I want to return it over here. Okay, so I'll directly put it like this, that I want to return these things from here to here. And to this return, I will be making it as my arrow function. Okay, and this will do is mounted as false. Okay, so why I am doing is mounted as false is, okay, so it is actually throwing me some error. Let's suppose that what is the problem over here. It is let, I guess. Okay, and it is inside my fetch data, so let's add it over here. Yeah, so error went away. Yeah, so it's done. Now the next thing I want to do over here is I want to use this particular use fetch hook in my component. So for that thing I want to create user list component .jsx, because I want to print the username. So what I will do, RAFCE, and in this thing I want those data error and loading to be here. So I will be using as prop, I will be putting data loading and error all together here, and I want to use that hook. So use fetch over here, it will be imported directly, and it is because I have added over here in use fetch this particular link, it automatically detected that I want to fetch some data from this particular link, so I can remove it from here. And as it is working, what do I want? I want to check if loading is true, so I want to return, and in return I will say console.log, or I will just say loading. In loading I will say return console.log, it's loading. Why would I return? I will just say it is loading. Okay, and if error is there, then in that case I want to console.log my error, okay, whatever will be the error. And now let's do, what I want to do is I want to use data, and in that I want to put a map, because this I want my item and I want to return over here, and in this thing what do I want? I want li, okay, and this will be taking key as item, and here I will be putting, what do I want? I want username, so I will do item dot, I think let's use this thing first of all in the Chrome, so that we'll get to know that what is this, the key name, okay, what is the key in corresponding to name. Okay, so is there, so name, it's name, okay, so we'll use name dot name over here. Okay, and now let's see how it will reflect. Pm run start, we'll do this, and but before that let's go to app and use your user list over here, user list component over here. And now let's go to your this thing and refresh it. Let's see, so it is giving some error that read map cannot read null property of map. So now let's see where is our null property to map. So let's see that how we can remove the error. Data.map was there the problem. So what we will do over here is I forgot to add id. Because of that only it will iterate over the list of the username. So it will uniquely identify according to the id, because I told you that React keeps the track of previous data also. So it was there. So let's do one thing is let's change this to return, and I want to add a paragraph to here. Let's remove this and add loading. Okay, and in here I want to reflect some error, so you will just return this thing, use your paragraph tag. Okay, it's not coming, so write it manually. And in this I want to reflect the error, so I will say error is this error, whatever you have inputted in here. Okay, so I hope this should work fine. Yeah, so what it is doing, that it is giving me all the names of the user. So if you will see over here, we are getting name as Linne Graham, Erwin Howell. So you can match these two. See, it's coming perfectly. So this is how you can use custom hook. Now if you want to use it for something else, what you will do, you will use this same, you will not do some changes to this particular thing, you will just create another component and you will do this thing, and you will be able to fetch the data perfectly. Okay, so I hope you have understood this custom hooks very well. Thank you so much everyone.